Before I could confront Justin, a furious knocking echoed through the house, shattering the tense atmosphere. Melissa hesitantly answered the door to a booming voice. "I'm Nora's father!" Before anyone could react, Henry barged in, feigning outrage at the delay in opening the door. Why has Henry suddenly appeared after all this time? What are his true motives for this unexpected visit? And what kind of drama will unfold now that he's been allowed inside? Melissa, her expression a mixture of surprise and apprehension, addressed Henry and Wendy. "Perhaps you'd prefer to speak with Nora privately, Mr. and Mrs. Smith," she suggested, her tone polite but laced with a hint of caution. Henry waved his hand dismissively. "Nonsense. We're all family here. No need for secrets." He strode into the living room, his gaze sweeping over the Andersons, his demeanor a forced cheerfulness that felt utterly insincere. Wendy followed close behind, her smile tight and nervous. Mrs. Anderson, Simon, and Melissa remained seated on the main sofa, their postures stiff and their expressions guarded. They regarded Henry and Wendy with a wary curiosity. I didn't take a seat. I remained standing near the wall, my expression carefully blank, my eyes scanning the room, assessing the undercurrents of tension. A heavy silence hung in the air, thick with unspoken resentments and barely concealed hostility. Finally, Henry, attempting to break the ice, stood and offered a stiff nod to Mrs. Anderson. "This is the first time we've met in all these years, Mom," he began, his voice laced with a forced affability. "It's all Yvette's fault, I'm sorry to say. She never wanted to talk about her family. It's because of her that we've all kept so distant from one another." Before he could elaborate further, Melissa, her voice sharp and decisive, cut him off. "That's kind of you to say, Mr. Smith. However, Yvette is no longer with us, and as you know, you have also remarried. Please don't feel obligated to us. We're no longer family." Henry's eyes flickered with a hint of anger, but he quickly masked it, heaving a dramatic sigh. "I have remarried, it's true. But please understand, it was all Yvette's idea. She lost a lot of blood giving birth to Nora, and her health continued to deteriorate badly afterward. She never fully recovered. But before she died, she worried about our poor little Nora growing up without a mother. She practically forced me to remarry. If she hadn't insisted, I don't think I could have brought myself to do it. For our daughter's sake, it was worth it, of course. But Yvette and I were so in love back then." He lowered his head, feigning grief, and wiped the non-existent tears from his eyes. Then he raised his head again, his gaze pleading. "Even if Yvette is gone, Mom is still my mother-in-law. That's something that'll never change." Wendy, sensing his desperation, hurriedly chimed in, her voice artificially sweet. "Yes, that's right. I had the honor of meeting Yvette when she was still alive. Our family may be small, and I know I could never replace her. But I hope you'll look at me as a daughter in the future, Mrs. Anderson. It would be a shame to lose our connection because of Yvette's death. We value family too much for that. And of course Nora is living with you now, strengthening those family ties. We're very supportive of that." She turned to Mrs. Anderson, her smile wide and insincere. "We could be such a wonderful family to each other." The elderly Mrs. Anderson, however, stared hard at Henry, her gaze penetrating and unwavering. Her eyes reddened with a familiar grief as she asked, her voice trembling slightly, "Are you saying that Yvette arranged for you to remarry before she died? That she chose this woman to be your wife and Nora's stepmother?" Mrs. Anderson felt her chest tighten as she imagined her proud and vibrant daughter Yvette spending her last days on earth choosing a second wife for her husband and a stepmother for her child. Wendy's smile faltered just a little under Mrs. Anderson's intense scrutiny. But she quickly recovered, forcing a bright, almost desperate cheerfulness. "Yes, that's right. That's why I'm so grateful to her. Mrs. Anderson, we're family." The tears in Mrs. Anderson's eyes were dangerously close to overflowing. She gripped her walking stick tightly, her knuckles white. She lowered her gaze, her voice heavy with a grief that spanned years. "We're not related by blood, so we aren't family." It was clear that she had no interest in continuing this charade. Simon also rose to his feet, his face etched with anger and disgust. He pointed a trembling finger at Henry, his voice shaking with barely suppressed fury. "You went looking for your next wife when my sister wasn't even dead yet? Are you completely heartless? We don't want family like you." Henry recoiled, momentarily shocked. "Mom, Simon, I'm sorry you can't find it in your hearts to recognize me as family, But I'm still Nora's father. The relationship between the two of us can never be severed, he said. I stood there wondering, why is Henry suddenly claiming his right on me? What is it he really wants? Will I be able to protect me and my children from his games?
Hi, Nora here. If you are wondering what happens next, then download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of Saving Nora Now with the link in the description.